is not a good one. Actually, I'm not sure about these two. All right, we're going from worst to best. Here we go, guys. Hello, wonderful human beings. Welcome back to another matcha taste test episode. Today we have 7 brands, which is the most we've done in a while, but we just have a lot to try today and I'm really excited. So we have some great ones and some not so promising looking ones. So we're gonna be all over the place today. We will be trying the David's Tea Matcha Matsu, the Ocha Co Organic Matcha, 365 by Whole Foods Matcha, Aiya Matcha, Maui Matcha, From the Reserve, and Blue Matcha. So that's what we have on deck today. If you're new to the series, basically this is where I go through and I rank not only the flavor, but the quality and the price. And basically I tell you whether or not I think it's worth buying. I feel like matcha is one of those things that is never really too cheap. So if you're gonna spend the money, I feel like it's worth spending on something that's actually good. Today we will be skipping over how to make matcha just in the interest of saving time. So if you are completely new to matcha, you can download my free matcha ebook guide, which will be linked in the description box below, or you can watch some of my older videos where I show you how to properly prepare matcha at home. As a reminder, I say this in every single video, but these are just my opinions. Taste is always subjective, so I feel like it's really important that you enjoy the matcha you're drinking, and that's all that matters. It's very likely that we're gonna disagree on whether or not we like some of these brands, and if there's a brand that you love that I end up not liking in this video, that's totally fine. Make sure you pick a matcha that is not only something that tastes good to you, but also fits your budget. I think that's the most important thing here. So without further ado, let's get into the taste test. The first blend of the day that we're trying is from David's Tea. This is the Matcha Matsu, which is kind of like their mid-tier matcha. This one is $21 or 42 cents per gram. Let's take a look at the color. First things first, I don't love resealable bags. I find them to be quite messy when you're working with such a fine powder. Like, this is not great. The color is giving dusty. It's like a military kind of brown green, which usually isn't a good sign, but we're gonna keep an open mind. In the beaker here, we have same thing going on. A little bit of like a yellowy brown hue. Smell is not bad actually. It smells like something, which is always a good sign. Let's try it solo. Whoa. Yeah, ooh, okay. Ooh, this is not a good one. It's extremely bitter in my mouth. And the first thing I noticed right away was the texture. It's not as finely milled, which is usually, oh my God, this is so bitter. Whoa, wow guys, this one, sorry. We're not off to a strong start. This one is very, very bitter. It's got an extremely astringent aftertaste, but not in a good way. The texture, like I was saying, is definitely a little bit more gritty. Like you taste that it's a powder mixed into water, which with a finer quality of matcha, you usually don't taste anything at all. It just tastes like you're drinking, you know, a brewed tea. Yeah, this is probably not one that I would recommend. David's Tea, I feel like, is better known for their loose leaf teas anyway, so I don't know. But let's try it with milk and see if it's any better. Now let's try it with some almond milk. Sometimes the color of a lower quality matcha is more evident when you mix it with milk. So you're looking for almost like a highlighter green color with a really high quality matcha. But you can see it's kind of leaning like olive, sort of like a military dirty brown kind of thing. That's what we got going on here. So let's see if the flavor improves at all with a little bit of milk. Whoa, this one is actually offensive in my mouth. It's like, whoa.
See, that wasn't good.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. This one is pretty bad, but unfortunately, this is not, I don't think, the worst of the day yet. It's just a rough start. Yeah, honestly, guys, I think this one's a pass. All right, next up, we have highly requested Ocha Co. This is actually a pretty big bag of matcha, and it turns out it's a little bit cheaper than the David's Tea matcha. This one comes in at 30 bucks or 30 cents a gram. The color of this right away, it doesn't look too terrible, but it also doesn't look great. It's not one that wows me. It has a little bit of that like yellowy, kind of darker hue to it, but this one is organic, which I feel like it's always important to say that organic matchas are not always the highest of quality. There are a lot of certifications that are different when you're growing a matcha that falls under the organic category. So it's not something that I personally look for in a high quality matcha, and sometimes it can actually result in a slightly lower grade of matcha just because the history in the soil is not there. A lot of the practices have to be different. So we'll keep that in mind and let's try it on its own. The color overall looks not too terrible, but again, it's not the best I've seen. Could be one that I would actually not mind drinking. Smell is there. Has a little bit of like a toasty, nutty, almost like a rice scent to it. All right, let's try it solo. This one's not bad. Like the David's Tea one, it has a little bit of a grittier texture to it. It's not quite as smooth, but it is more on the affordable side, I would say. There is a bit of that bitter aftertaste too though. So something to note, it has like that jasmine green tea kind of astringency to it. And it's not the most smooth. It's actually a little bit like taste dusty actually. I feel like this is one that I would have to mix with a bunch of other ingredients to make it enjoyable, but it's not the worst I've had. Let's try it with some milk. Yeah, it looks not too bad, but it's nothing too impressive either. I feel like normally with a higher quality matcha, it's a little bit more vibrant when mixed with milk. Let's give it a try. I really don't taste too much of the matcha at all, which I feel like tells me it's a little bit more of a flavorful, less bold matcha because it can't stand up to almond milk, which I find to be pretty neutral. Again, it just has like a very dusty feeling in the mouth for me. So not the worst by far today, but probably not one that I'd want to buy again. I would file this under would drink if I was desperate. All right, next up we have 365 by Whole Foods. So 365 is the in-house brand of Whole Foods Market. Now, I love Whole Foods, but I'm gonna tell you, usually in-house brand stuff, especially matcha, is not the best. Even the bag is telling you, the color of the matcha on the bag is not so promising. At least they're not lying, which I appreciate, but I feel like this is not gonna be very good. And the price comes in at $18 for this bag, pretty big bag, which comes down to 13 cents per gram. And like Paulina said, rightfully so, because the color of this by far is, I think, the worst we're gonna see today. So I'm bracing myself a little bit to try this one. Whole Foods. Whoa, I inhaled it. It's giving ashes. It's not giving. The smell is pretty bad, guys. All right, as you can see, not looking too good. This is very much an army green, and compared to the last two that we've seen today, really not great. Color-wise, it reminds me a lot of Costco, actually, and I'm really scared to drink this. Here we go, guys. Guys, what are we doing at Whole Foods? This is bad. You know what? The crazy thing is, it's not as bitter as the David's Tea one, but it just doesn't taste right. It doesn't really quite taste like matcha. Yeah, no. This is not good. Even as a supplement, guys, I say this all the time about brands that market matcha as more of a superfood supplement. If you are going for the health benefits, you do want to go for a higher quality matcha, because the lower quality, the lower nutrition profile, the lower bioavailability of everything that you're looking for from the matcha. So I wouldn't even buy this as a supplement, but that's my personal opinion. Let me know if you've tried this one, guys. This is really quite bad. And this is no shade to Whole Foods, because I love Whole Foods. Let's try it with milk. This is sewage, okay? Guys, this is not good. I'm not sure if this is showing on camera, but it's kind of looking like pea soup. It's brown, it's yellow, it's really not vibrant at all, but let's try. Oh, it kind of just tastes like my milk has gone off. It doesn't taste like very much. The flavor's not really there. I would most certainly never buy this again, and I would not drink it if I didn't have to against my will. So, sorry Whole Foods, still love ya, but not your matcha. Moving on, we have from the Reserve, this is Ultra Premium Ceremonial Organic Matcha. When you say something like ultra premium, I'm really gonna be expecting a lot, okay? Let's take a peek at the color, and that is not giving ultra premium right away. Let me say that. But this looks so much better than everything we've tried today so far. The color is that slightly off green, kind of yellow brown vibe going on. I am very excited to try this after what we've tried so far today, but judging by looks, this is probably not one that I would typically go for if I was just basing it off of looks. So this one retails for 40 bucks. We got it on sale, a little July 4th special for $12. At its regular retail price, it comes down to $1.33 per gram, which is pretty up there. But I will tell you, compared to some of the other colors that we've seen today, this one's not all that much better. So let's see how it compares. This is how it looks solo Americano, and we're gonna try it like this first. Smell is much better. I think it also matters the order in which you try things, but this is much better. Color looks a lot better as well. It's got kind of the right shade of green going on, but again, not the most vibrant I've seen, and it's not bad, but the flavor is very mild. There's not a lot of flavor actually. It's giving like a brewed green tea kind of flavor, but it's smoother, much smoother than anything we've tried today so far. And as you can see, I can take 3 sips, so it's really not that bad. A little bit of that bitter aftertaste, but it's not overpowering. Let's try it with some milk. I have a strong suspicion that it's just kind of gonna disappear in flavor once added to the milk because on its own, there really isn't much going on. Here's how it looks. Not terrible, not the best. Color looks a little bit more towards the direction that we're looking for though, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I mostly taste milk and a little bit of a bitterness. This one would probably be best enjoyed Americano, but even then it's not the most pleasant flavor, but it's not terrible. I'll give it that. Next up, we have Maui Matcha by Bloom. From what I hear, I actually have a lot of friends who are a big fan of Bloom products, not the matcha, but I hear that the backstory of the founder is pretty great. I'm gonna give it points for the product being so cute. The packaging is adorable. I got this one at Erewhon, but this retails on their site for $25, which comes down to about 83 cents per gram. So it's not the most expensive, which is a good thing because my expectations are kind of in the middle. I'm not expecting too much from this though, because I know that this is more of a supplement brand. And from what I understand, the founder doesn't really have a strong connection to matcha. So this might just kind of be a product that they threw out there. Color is unsurprisingly not the best thing ever, but it's also not the worst. It's kind of on par with what we just saw with From the Reserve, I would say. It does have a little bit of that bitter smell though. So let's see if it translates in flavor. This is how it's looking. A pretty nice dark deep green actually, kind of similar to From the Reserve, maybe a little bit nicer in color actually. And smell, doesn't really smell like much. Let's try it. Ooh, whoa. Damn. Okay, I can try it again. Whoa, this is a complete 180 from the Reserve having almost no flavor to this one being extremely bitter. The color is not bad, but color doesn't always tell you everything about the matcha because this one, flavor-wise, I actually think I like it less than the other one, even though you couldn't really taste the other one. Very bitter, not much flavor other than just bitterness, which is usually not a great sign in my opinion. Let's try with some milk now. Again, the color is really not bad at all, but this is again why I feel like it's important to note that color is not everything. In the last episode that we did, I was actually really surprised by Symbiotica, which had a gorgeous color, but tasted so. Let's try. Yeah, the flavor actually kind of, it's more prominent than From the Reserve with the milk, but it basically tastes like a glass of bitter milk. So I would say this one's definitely one to skip because it's pricier and it's really not that good. I would not recommend this one. Next up, we have another highly, highly requested one. This is Aiya Matcha. I've gotten so many questions about this one and I see it a lot on TikTok. I'm pretty sure I've tried this before in the past. I don't really remember what my thoughts were about it, but it does claim ceremonial grade, which is great and means I will be keeping that in mind. This one retails for $26.40 and that comes out to 88 cents per gram. Let's take a look at the color. The color of this one is actually really not too bad. It might be the best that we've seen yet today, but all the other contenders were pretty low quality contenders, so it's not saying too much. I do have high hopes though, because it looks great based on what I've seen, and smell does have that kind of bitter, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like dried grass smell, like a really frizzled out LA front yard dried grass kind of smell that Bloom also had. Color though actually looks pretty freaking good. And the smell, yeah, kind of reminiscent of Bloom. I'm expecting something on par with like Jade Matcha quality or Jade Leaf Matcha. So let's try. It does remind me of Jade Leaf. It's got that bitter green tea, jasmine tea aftertaste to it, and not that much flavor up front. It's more of like an aftertaste, but it's not unbearable. So it does remind me a lot of Jade Leaf Matcha. I would say this is a pretty solid mid-tier matcha. Not one that I would personally want to drink, but I think mixed with other things, it could be not bad at all. Based on this alone, probably wouldn't buy this again, but let's try it with milk. All right. The color, again, really looking pretty good actually. Yeah, very pretty color. But I think that's why it's important when you're on social media scrolling that you don't only judge from the color, because I can guarantee you at the same price, if not less, there are much better options out there. I don't really love that with the milk. Again, I think there's not that much base flavor to it aside from that bitter aftertaste. So this one's not really so great tasting in my opinion. It'd probably be a pass for me. I could drink it if I was really desperate, but I probably would not want to spend my money on this again. Okay, we've made it to the last matcha of the day. This is Maui Matcha. I was really lucky to actually meet the founder in person. They had a little pop-up here in LA. I think they're having another one soon. But Michelle actually sent me this matcha. And as a disclaimer, I usually don't accept any matcha to be sent to me because I like to judge pretty harshly and honestly. But I had tried this before and I really did like it, and I'm still giving my honest opinion. So just so you know, this was sent to me, but really only because I actually enjoy it, and I like it so much that I'm almost out of it. So I almost forgot that I needed to film this video, and it's a pretty good matcha. I think it's gonna be the best of today's group. This one is the most expensive today. It comes in at $49 and $163 per gram. But I think with matcha, you're usually paying for what you get, or wait. I think with matcha, you're usually getting what you pay for. That's what it is. And so I think that's very apparent because the color is beautiful. It's not the most vibrant, I will say that. I have had matchas that are more vibrant, but this is pretty up there for me, and the flavor is what I think I was most impressed with. So smell-wise, you actually get a nice scent from it. It's kind of grassy, a little bit toasty and warm. It smells great, and let's give it a try on its own. Very smooth texture-wise. It has a little bit of like this kind of spinachy chlorophyll flavor, which some matcha do have. It's just because it's like rich in chlorophyll and it's got that like almost vegetal flavor to it, but it's not bad at all. Yeah, it's really nice. It's not my absolute favorite matcha, but I happily drink this up and I use it for lots of recipe development, so pretty good. Let's try it with milk. Beautiful color, and let's give it a stir. Yeah, this one actually has kind of a nutty flavor when mixed with milk, which is really interesting. Very smooth, no crazy bitter aftertaste. Like I said, this one is pretty good. It's not my all-time favorite, but it's not a bad option at all. I think this one actually is best enjoyed as a latte or in a mixed drink, because I found that when you're drinking an Americano, it does have that kind of like vegetal flavor to it. But overall, very smooth, which is one of the most important things to me personally. And it's not bad at all. I would say this is one I would happily drink. I'm not sure that I would put it in my like top tier necessarily, but it's a pretty good matcha, and I really enjoyed it, especially at their matcha bar. So I think this one is a great one for mixed drinks and lattes. All right, the lineup for today's video. Actually, I'm not sure about these two. All right, we're going from worst to best. At the bottom here, we have Whole Foods. I hope this is showing up on camera. In person, it is basically yellow at this point. They have been watered down a little bit by ice, but this color is pretty darn awful. Whole Foods on the bottom, then we have David's Tea, pretty bad, pretty bad. Ocha Co, not offensive because it doesn't really have much flavor at all, but it still has that like bitterness to it. From the Reserve, for the price that it is, I actually think I preferred Ocha Co. And then Bloom, I actually don't know which one I liked better. Neither were really my favorite. The top two today were Aiya Matcha, which was just so-so, and then Maui Matcha at the top. The two of these were the best of the bunch, but I don't know that they're still in like my top tier per se, but this is the order for today. I guess if I had to recommend one from this bunch today, it would be the Maui Matcha, if you're okay with like a little bit of a vegetal, spinachy taste. Yeah, all around, very mid today. Nothing too great, no standouts here, but can't win them all. So if you want to see another video, let me know in the comments below. I still have a long list that we're working through. Matcha is also not cheap, so we're working on it. But I appreciate all your suggestions, and if you haven't already, check out the free matcha guide, link in the description box below. I also share snippets of all my reviews over on TikTok and my new Instagram page, also Matcha Mommy. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you loved this video, and I will see you in another one soon. Bye.